agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, it would have been time a long time ago.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. Theodore Roosevelt. A very important quote to open the show up with. Why? Because we are a society of couch quarterbacks, right? The Monday morning QB, the Monday morning analysts. There's so much media, there's so much sort of hindsight in this world that it's tough. You know what I mean? It is kind of tough. It's hard to digest sometimes, especially if you're out there daring greatly. So to those of you who are out there daring greatly, I speak to you at the intro here. Those who are taking a risk, those who are working hard, those who are trying to achieve something. You know, just as well as I know, just as well as anyone who's ever put themselves out on the line, that there are hundreds of people out there judging, right? Making assumptions. The level of assumptions in this nation, in this world probably is it's an amazing thing to watch. But you have to be aware of it. And you have to be aware of the more important thing, and that is that you are the one they're watching. How much time... Well, you follow me, right? You follow me in the understanding that those who are daring greatly, as Theodore Roosevelt put it, are the ones who should be praised, right? The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, the man who's doing the thing, doing something to better himself, his family, his country, whatever it is. We dare greatly on I Am Liberty every week. Not that we're taking huge risks here. Not that this is a massive situation of massive risk. But as you know, I am almost a full week into what has become my new career. This is a part of it. And I am daring greatly. I'm answering the call of life. And I want to talk to you about the call of life, especially during this Christmas time today. Because the call of life comes and you have options. Right? You have options to be a person who answers the call, breaks down, falls apart, comes up with excuses. There are many options in life. But life will come and call. And it'll put you in incredible situations, both good and bad. I've never been the type of person who doesn't try to turn an ugly situation on its head and make it a great one. And I think I'm pretty close to achieving that here. But there's a lot I want to talk about on this show. So we're not going to sit here and talk about me for long. Because there's some massive news out there, right? Taiwan and Donald Trump are talking, and it's the biggest news in the media. We're already in World War III just because Donald Trump called somebody up. He made a phone call, and I'm not sure if he made the call or if Taiwan made the call to him, whatever it is. Already we're in World War III, made the worst decision he ever could have made by standing up to China. And to those conservatives who are on that sort of a mindset that he made a bad decision, this is the guy you brought in. Right? Everybody who voted for him, myself included, knew the inherent risk of war. It's very difficult to get have it both ways. Very difficult. Very difficult to find yourself in a position where you're going to take a hard stance, which our nation has not done in years, decades maybe. Take a hard stance against these other nations that are abusing you. Yet not have the military back, not have the military to back that. This is just part of the game. This is just part of what you did when you voted for the guy. We all knew there was a chance he could become a king. We all knew there was a chance he could throw us into a war with China, with Russia, with Mexico, whatever it is. Just the facts. It's just the facts. It's just the situation we find ourselves in, but it's not even really a story I want to talk about. I want to talk about Christmas tonight. I want to talk about Angela Merkel calling for a ban on the burqa. And this is not a joke. This is a legitimate news story. Walking back her comments before and understanding the threat that radical Islam poses and saying there's no need for the full veil in Germany. I want to talk about God a little bit and the freedom of risk, the freedom of discipline. And then I've got a very special article for you at the end of the show today, one that just tickles my fancy, and they just keep coming. These types, like articles like these, just keep coming, and they keep coming, and they keep pushing, and they keep pushing, and they won't stop. And they won't stop. So, what do we talk about? Let's talk about Christmas. Let's talk about I'm holding something in my hand right now. It's a phenomenal book called The Lost Ways. And what I'm going to do for you folks is I'm going to give a copy of The Lost Ways away on my live show next Wednesday on the 14th? Let me have a look here on the old calendar. Yes, the 14th. So December 14th, we're going to do a live show on prepperbroadcasting.com. Go there Wednesday. We're live every Wednesday at Prepper Broadcasting at 9 p.m. There's a live chat room. It's a good time. If you're only listening to this show through Stitcher or through iTunes or whatever it is, you need to come to the live shows. It's a good experience. So, The Lost Ways is a collection of great authors. It's an incredible book, really. And a collection of great authors who are very much putting ancient and lost methodologies and techniques together in one place. Let me give you an example of this book, The Lost Ways, and sort of what it had. This is not a book that I wrote, but I did contribute. Okay? How the sheriffs from the frontiers defended their villages. How North American natives and early pioneers made pemmican. Distilling your own moonshine. Military correspondence during the 1700s to the 1900s. Very cool stuff. The rectal acorn. I'll let you read that chapter on your own. You'll like that. Invisible ink, masked letters. Then there's some great things about modern firearms, casting bullets, black powder primers. There's some great information about how our ancestors made an herbal poultice to heal their wounds. Incredible stuff. A huge section about wild crafting your table. Arrowhead, asparagus, bulrush, chickweed, cleavers, dandelion, lady's thumb. A lot of good ones. A lot of good leaves. What did I do? You want to find out about the contributions by James Walton? Let's see. How our ancestors navigated. Very good. Building semi-subterranean roadhouses. Awesome. Not my contributions, but very cool. Our Ancestors' Guide to Root Cellars. There's a lot of good information in here. Recipes past and future. Biscuits and gravy, Easter cake, porridge. Cool stuff there. How to make soap naturally. How to preserve water. There's a lot of good things in this book. God, it's huge. I didn't realize how big it was. How to smoke fish. How to build a smoker. Survival lessons from the Donner Party. The anatomy of a snowshoe. Building your own water wheel. Really great stuff. So anyway, we're going to give this guy a loan. I can't find my items here. Doesn't matter. You'll find them. My name is on them, so it's it's not a big deal. So the writing of many books, there is no end. Here we go. Oh, I'm right in the beginning here. That's why. How the early pioneers built the self-feeding fire. Right? Boom. And there's a really good article in there about the self-feeding fire. The survival food of the U.S. Civil War. How to make hardtack biscuits. I wrote that and took all the photography for that. Lost pioneer recipes from the 18th century. Good collection of recipes. I think it's about 30 of them. Some really good elk backstrap with spiced plum sauce. Great one. So there's a lot of good info in this book. It's a beautiful book. As a writer, as a survivalist or whatever I am. I don't know what I am. Who knows what I am? I'm an American. That's all. I'm an American who has identified certain problems and certain... just an observatory American. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to put myself in a perfect little cube in a little box that you can find me very easily with a Google search? I don't know. It would make me a lot of money if I did, at the end of the day. It would make me a lot of money. It would make the podcast a lot better and more accessible and probably more, popular. If I was James Walton Liberty's survivalist or something stupid like that. But that's not me. That's not me. I'm not, at the core, I'm not really this super survivalist guy. At the core, there's some days I wake up and I say, you know what, I want to go eat a McDonald's breakfast sandwich and come home and play video games with my kids. That's what I want to do. I don't even want to think about the end of times, the end of the world. It's not, you understand? I mean, how much can a person really be into this stuff? You think about it day and night, you drive yourself insane. But there's a lot out there. I want to talk about Christmas, though, because Christmas is one of those opportunities where you do want to bring out that inner prepper, right? You want to bring out that inner prepper, that inner survivalist in you, and utilize the fact that people are going, I don't know what to get you. I don't want to. What do you want? What should I get you? I don't know what to buy you. Be very clear and very concise with them. You know what I mean? Now's the time to go to beprepared.com, or we have a great advertiser up at futuredanger.com. Futuredanger.com is a great website as well. Check it out. It's sort of like a Drudge Report, but a little better, in my opinion. There's not as much of the nonsense media about stars and celebrities. Future Danger has a great color-coded system also that you can get to know and learn about. As far as, oh, look at this guy. And the guy's still got my ad up on the site. What a nice guy. I have not paid him in quite some time. He's still got my ad up on the site. Yeah, Survive a Mass Shooting. What a beautiful book cover I created for that thing. Survive a Mass Shooting, still out there. Get your hands on it for Christmas. That's a good one. That's not why I'm talking about Christmas today, though. But up at futuredanger.com, there's the Awakening Liberty store. Not my store. Has nothing to do with I Am Liberty. But it's a great store for food storage, non-GMO food storage. Very interesting store. If people are badgering you about what you want, what can I get you? That's what you do. You give them an option. I really respect more now than ever, and I'm really trying to do it now more. And it's hard for a guy like me I'm very empathetic. But I really respect people who just give you the straight answer to your question, or tell you exactly what they need you to do. I'm really working to try and become a person like that. It upsets people sometimes, but I feel like in the long run, it's so much better for both parties. What do you need? This is what I need. Sit down with your wife. Sit down with your kids. I need this right now. This is what I need you to do. I put this guy up, futuredanger.com, when I do a show because there's such amazing news on there. Unemployment explosion. This initial jobless claims soar the most in 2 years following the election. Like you keep reading about how good the economy is. Record 95 million Americans out of the labor force. It's big news, right? Big news. Multinational insurance corporation to lay off 800 in California and Ohio. What does it mean? I was thinking about the economy, and I was thinking about this idea that the economy's doing good. 6 million borrowers are 90 days late on their car loans. 6 million borrowers are late. And I came to a conclusion that we need to figure out different ways to measure the economy's success. That's it. I think we have to figure out, I think the way that we measure the economic success in our nation is broken. Now, I don't know enough to figure out how to fix that, but it is something I'm going to look into. Right? What are the metrics that we're currently using, and are they working? I don't know. But I could go down the line here. There's tons of news. There's tons of stuff to talk about, but I'd really like to focus on this Angela Merkel. Incredible. She told the annual Congress that it was legitimate to expect integration from newcomers, underlining her party's bid to ban the full-face veil. So it must come from the party, and she's probably not that excited about it. But she's either under such pressure, or she's finally come to the conclusion that it's dangerous. Sorry, it's a dangerous thing. Not to mention, what does the full veil do for women's rights? How can we in one breath say that we're so involved in women's rights and we're so up? I mean, it's such a big thing for us. Yet in these European nations and in our own nation, we're allowing women to be covered up like this, whether it's their religious right or not. You know, sometimes you have to make a decision for someone based on the fact of what's right and what's wrong, whether they've been indoctrinated or not. She said, quote, "The full veil must be banned wherever it is legally possible," she said to a large round of applause. Merkel also stressed her determination to ensure there's no repeat of last year's huge migrant influx, as she seeks a new 2-year term in charge of her conservative party. Now, she's part of that conservative party, and election time's coming up. So you could see that. You know what I mean? You could see through the veil itself. You could see it through the veil itself. We know that the Dutch Parliament also voted in favor of a burqa ban in public. Right? This is nothing new. Dutch Parliament. Swiss Parliament votes to ban Muslim women from wearing burqa. It's out there and it's happening. You know, it's not something new. People are taking a look at this. That's what it is. It marks a U-turn for the CDU party leaders who have previously expressed skepticism. This person spelled skepticism wrong. Of a full ban despite growing calls for it among rank-and-file members. Merkel has also stopped short calling for a ban, saying only that she must find the right legal and political balance. Germany, on their own, saw 890,000 asylum seekers arrive last year. God, that's a lot of people. And I understand per capita, or, you know, compared to the entire population of Germany, it's not a lot, but that's a lot of people. A situation like the one in the late summer of 2015 cannot, should not, and must not be repeated, Merkel said. This was and is our and my declared political aim. So at a time when our candidate on the Democratic side was sort of, his plan was her plan, Hillary, her plan was to bring in more. And the man who decided to go the route of, we need to figure this thing out, we need to stop bringing these people in, for one, set the trend, right? Trump set the trend that Merkel is now following. Rather than us following in the terrible mistakes and being drugged through the bloody waters of Europe and their trials and tribulations and their mistakes, it's nice to be a part of a nation that's ahead of the curve, right? And using common sense to make decisions. But this is a big deal, having Merkel come out and say no burqa. No deal on the burqa. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's going to move in the right direction. You know, I was talking to a friend the other day who said he was concerned about the backlash of Trump. You know, the Trump presidency, the Trump attacks on radical Muslims, what Trump does with ISIS and the rebel. Oh, by the way, remember those pesky rebels in Syria? Remember those pesky rebels in Syria? You know, those ones that we armed and those ones that were probably part of the same factions that are killing Americans, or at least indoctrinating Americans, or at the very least recruiting Americans. You know, those rebels, those great rebels who are going to knock down Bashar Assad and take over the regime there and become a good democracy that would never lash a woman for walking too close to him. Yeah, those great rebels. Well, they've decided to put together a peace treaty with Russia because they've been so bombed into oblivion by the Russian military that they're waving the white flag already. That's it. It's done. It's done. They've been bombed off the face of the earth, and they're ready to figure something out, some sort of a deal with the monster Putin. It is what it is. It is what it is. Taking a lot of heat for my position on the pipeline. You know, I was very happy that the pipeline got blocked from running through the Native American lands and over the Native Americans' lake. Right? The Sioux were fighting very hard to protect their land. Land that the U.S. government gave them. Land that we don't really belong running projects through. And I was happy the night, Sunday night, when we found out that the Army Corps of Engineers blocked a permit and said they were going to... Now, here's the thing. People got so crazy with me. They got so crazy with me over social media because they thought, or either they didn't read or they don't have a mind. And they said to themselves, this guy's a liberal, this guy's a turncoat, this guy thinks that oil shouldn't rule. No, and I don't believe that oil should rule. I believe that we have great gas prices now. We're also very capable of changing the path of this thing, which is exactly what's going to happen. The pipeline is not dead. So for the environmentalists, it's still a bad day. For the Sioux, it's a great day, right? We're not gonna. We destroyed relics that predated. God, who knows what, right? Ancient relics were destroyed in the pursuit of creating this pipeline and running it through their land. And I'll never forget one of the days I was most angry was when I seen, I think it was Damascus, was hit by ISIS. They came through and started destroying ancient temples and ancient statues. And I said to myself, this is the worst thing that can ever happen. These things can never be replaced. This is terrible. So, watching that, and then watching my own government do it, and then watching the people of America say that this is what we should be doing. Is this what we should be doing? By any means necessary, we need to run this pipeline through these people's protected lands that we took so much from, yet now we decide, even though we gave you this little portion of land to call your own, we're going to run a pipe through it. They say no, we say, okay, that's fine. You know, there's something to be said about integrity. So for those of you out there who are belly aching over this pipeline issue, you know what I mean, and the fact that it got blocked, it's still going to happen, dummies. It's still going to happen. You're not stopping the flow of oil. Let's be honest and smart. Let's be honest and smart. If you look at history, you never stop the oil. No one will ever stop the oil. But we made a compromise here that made sense. It made sense. That's all. It's what good people would do. Right? It's what good people would do in the world. If you wanted to run a gas line or some kind of line through your neighbor's yard and they told you no, you wouldn't tell them go to hell, bulldoze their garage, and then run the line anyway. Not if you were an asshole. No, you would say, okay, well, I'm going to have to run it around their property because that's their property, and that's the deal. My little reprisal on Standing Rock. For those of you who decided to toss me into the fire, no big deal. I mean, it just didn't hurt my feelings much, but it's just a funny example of how short-sighted people can be. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll get to the big story of the day. It's James Walton with I Am Liberty, folks. This holiday season, Lady Liberty has the house smelling amazing with her products from Pink Zebra. pinkzebrahome.com/Michelle Walton is the website. I want you to check out pinkzebrahome.com/Michelle Walton, WALTON. What are you getting for that special someone in your life this year? Do you have a plan? It's getting late. It's getting late. Husband, wife, children, co-workers, get them something unique from pinkzebrahome.com/Michelle Walton. Right now we're burning something that smells like an alpine forest in the house. In the fall we burnt some kind of cider scent that was just right. It was fall. Right? These scents are unique. They come with these beautiful shades that can cover your simmering lights and your simmering pots. And they make a great gift, right? They make a great and unique gift for your loved ones this holiday season. So do some shopping at pinkzebrahome.com/Michelle Walton. It's pinkzebrahome.com/Michelle Walton, WALTON. Because, 'tis the season. Alright, children, gather round. Gather round the fire. I'd like to tell you a story about the Whiteness Forum. A critical look at whiteness. This from the collegefix.com. Never heard of the website before. It says, original student reported, your daily dose of right-minded news and commentary from across the nation. Students at Cal State San Marcos on Thursday hosted a Whiteness Forum as part of a communications class they enrolled in, setting up more than a dozen displays that highlighted what they contend is how white privilege has oppressed people of color in a variety of ways. Now, just in the opening paragraph, what do we stand to gain from this? What do we stand to gain? Tell me. Is there a way to get a fortified movement from the white base of the nation to do what? What would they do? Would they tell people, you know what, don't give me this job, give it to the black guy? Actually, that's already happened, to be honest. That was forced upon us, if you want me to be honest. Right, so we can't do that. Affirmative action forced that upon the white man and woman. A white beauty standard display stated, we are studying the white hegemonic ideals of the beauty industry. Another asked, who does whiteness say that you are? Noting whiteness studies is defined as the study of the system of white dominion in our society with a focus on ideologies of white supremacy as collective rather than white individuals. A Make America White Again display included an image of Donald Trump's baseball hat and argued his campaign has led to a wave of hate crimes. A wave of hate crimes. A Whiteness in the Court project explained the law as a tool used by dominant groups, those who have social, political, and economic power, to represent their interests and reflect their values. Now, have you ever been approached? I'm talking to the white people listening to the show now. I know I have fans of different races, ethnicities, colors, religions, the whole nine. Even Muslims listen to I Am Liberty. Because there are Muslims in the world that exist for reasons other than the chopping of heads and the raping of women. Great people who've, done a lot for our society. Have you ever been approached to join some people, to gather together and talk about the law and how it is your tool to dominate lesser groups of different colors, groups of different religions, races? Have you ever been approached about how you can bolster political and economic power through the law? Or have you more than likely been pulled over by a state cop and told you were going too fast and charged $300? It goes on. Blacks are 5 times more likely to go to prison over whites of similar conviction. Latinos are 3 times more likely to go to prison over whites of similar conviction. Other displays include gentrification is the new colonialism. Stand up for Standing Rock. Because Standing Rock is white people. Right? The pipeline is about white people, isn't it? Yeah, of course. Isn't the pipeline about white people? Sure, whiteness. Yes. Because only white people get gas and buy oil. If I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. My favorite, though. My favorite is the Wheel of Whiteness. I couldn't make it up and I'm a great fiction, developer of ideas, really. The Wheel of Whiteness. One group had guests spin the Wheel of Whiteness. Another passed out gentrification is the new colonialism stickers. This is what's happening in the schools. It's beautiful, right? Isn't it great? Isn't progress a magical thing? Progress is a magical and mystical event. Let's see what these folks have to say. I didn't even realize there was a video. All black affair. What does that mean? Students learn the best when they actually do something as opposed to just hearing something, rather. The Whiteness Forum. Reflecting on white privilege and racist. Just said race. No, what did it say? Racist? Oh, here's our white beauty standard. So there's no, it's just some pictures. It's just some, let's see who is at this whiteness fix. They're not showing many participants, but I would, there's a white hand. I would venture to say it was put on by white people and attended by primarily sick and demented white people. Alright, we have a woman here. Who am I? Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Limitations in education, K through 12. This is an amazing time in that we can look at racism. We can spend years and years fighting racism. Years and years. Right? Years and years fighting racism, only to see maybe the most clear and concise example of racist behavior in the last 20, 30 years, happening all over colleges, being backed by prominent leaders. Remember that no one, regardless of color, escapes whiteness altogether. Many of the values and privileges of whiteness are built into an academic discourse, law, education, and other social systems. Whiteness is even deeply connected to the identity formation of the U.S. People of color as well as white folks. States the syllabus. So this has this lovely class in communications has a syllabus. And what's the answer? For all this crying and belly aching, what's the answer? If you're white and you grew up with certain traditions in your life, what would you like me to do? Whiteness Forum. Whiteness Forum with all the answers. What is it that you would like me to do? What do they want done? I don't understand what they want. They never have a list of desires or goals or anything. They get together and white people are bad. Yes, they should have never came over here and invented the amazing world that they invented. No, they should have stayed in Europe and been victimized. And how can you take what happened, all the horror involved in it, all the good that came from it, and turn it into a black and white issue? And I don't mean by race. I mean in the simplistic idea that whiteness, white privilege, white this, white that, people of a certain pigment. I'm watching Scrooge in the background. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. I've got to come down a little bit. That people of the same pigment are all responsible for everyone else's problems. Right? Because my son is born into a family of white people, he is responsible for the fact that blacks get locked up 2 times more for similar crimes to white people. He is in fact responsible for the law. He is in fact responsible for academic discourse and education and other social systems. Well, Whiteness Forum, I've got news for you. This is America. And there is one thing above all else that rules in America. And whether you like it or not, the fact is we're a capitalist society, and success is what matters. Money, dollars, hard work that equates to money is what rules. And that's what will be invested in, and that's what we should be teaching people. See, rather than teach people about capitalism and teach them how to be successful in a capitalist society, we teach them about Karl Marx. And we so delude their minds, and we so derange them, that they have no idea where to start now. They have no starting gate. There's no starting line. They have no idea what to do. They come out of college and they go, well, I know we live in a capitalist society, and I should try to make some money, and I should try to come up with an idea that'll make money, and get investors and do it. It would do everything the way that it's set up to do. But my stupid moron professor told me that Karl Marx had it right, and that this capitalist society is a bad thing. Listen, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. The issues of the day are what? We, as a nation, see, it's not about investing in white. It's not about white and investments and white people and white this and white that. It's about success and it's about revenue. That's it. You could be purple. You could be yellow. You could be highlighter yellow. If you walked into a boardroom and you sat down and you told investors, hey, look, I've got a product that has had a 25% increase in sales over the last 5 years. I want you to invest in it. I know ways that I can market it even better and get even more of a return on your investment. They don't care. Green is the color. Don't you understand? Stop worrying about white. Stop worrying about black. I don't like to say that we live in a world that is governed completely by money, and all our decisions should be. But when we talk about success and about getting ahead in the world, the only real color you need to concern yourself with is green. That's what moves politicians. That's what moves influential people. That's what moves, and in fact, how thinly you can slice the green is what moves the general public, right? The general public doesn't eat your ice cream because they love the fact that you are racist and you believe in white privilege. No, they eat your ice cream because it's the cheapest and the best quality they can get. They've struck a good balance, right? Same thing with Chick-fil-A. We don't go to... When I get my kids together, Chick-fil-A is a dream for parents, right? They've created a model where they have a polite staff that is trained phenomenally. They do their job excellent and quick. And you take the kids and they go play after they eat. You could sit there and talk to your wife like you used to before the children came and demolished your marriage. I'm kidding. And the reason you go there is for these things. It's because they figured out how to give you value on the dollar and give you a great experience. Nobody sits around and goes, well, kids, since we're Christians and we don't believe in gay marriage, we're going to go eat at Chick-fil-A. Nobody does it. Nobody cares about your beliefs. Don't you understand that? The average American individual doesn't even know who owns the businesses they frequent. They could care less. What do they care about? Is it what I want? Is it at a good value? Cool, I'm going. Shut up. I don't care about your whiteness forum, and it won't get you anywhere. It won't get you anywhere, especially if you don't give us any information about what it is you want. How many years are we going to listen to white people are bad and colonized and this and that? Meanwhile, they're typing on and they're writing on and they're sitting in cafes developed by white... I mean, do we have to go down the litany of white inventions that have made it possible for these little twerps to put together their Whiteness Forum project? And to close out this show in the holiday season, I wanted to talk about God. I'm going to reserve it for tomorrow. I'm going to reserve it for tomorrow because I don't want to overstep it. I don't want to overstep it. But to close out the show, I want to say this, all right, about this issue in particular. I'll always fight for guns. I'll always fight for the guns in the Second Amendment. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Every single foothold that the government gets is a bad day for me when it comes to the Second Amendment. Because as long as we have guns, we have the power to control the direction of the nation if it goes crazy. Without the guns, we have no nothing. There's nothing. Now, what I also want to tell you is that I'll always fight for my race. Yeah. I don't tout my race. No, I have no shirts that say I'm so happy to be white. I have no shirts that even say I'm happy to be Irish. I'm Irish American, Italian American, whatever I am. I've got a bunch of different... I'm a mutt. I don't even have a shirt that says I'm a proud American. Because I don't need to wear that on my sleeve. What's the point? You know what I am. The only time my race and my skin color becomes an issue is when it's attacked. And just like any smart African American, just like any smart Latin American, just like any smart Arab American, Arabian American, I don't know. When someone attacks you based on something as silly as your race and your skin color, history has taught us you better battle back. You better battle back while you have the ability to battle back. And I have children, and I have wonderful friends in my life who have beautiful children as well. And guess what? I won't sit idly by and watch them become marginalized. I won't. I will make such a mockery. I'll spend money to make a mockery of this stuff. Trust me. If it attempts to hit a crescendo, I will write books, I will do webinars, I will spend money on advertisements. It's just, there are two topics I don't play with in life, and it's those two. Okay? So if you ever need to understand where my core values lie, or what you're getting when you come to the I Am Liberty show, at the very least, these are the two things that I'll defend. And I know I won't be alone. And I know you'll be out there listening, and I'll know you'll be out there doing just the same. And for me, that's Christmas gift enough, all right? So happy holidays. I'll see you tomorrow night, live, 9 Eastern Standard Time, prepperbroadcasting.com.